Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought, what if this tiny piece of copper is actually a life-changing treasure? Not a fantasy, not a lottery ticket, but a real coin, struck by the United States Mint, hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into one of the most electrifying modern coin stories in America, the 2021 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny that has stunned collectors and is now talked about in elite circles with a market value reaching an astonishing $896,000. Yes, you heard that right, almost $900,000 for 1 cent. And before you laugh and say, it's just a penny, let me ask you something. How many pennies are sitting in jars, drawers, glove compartments, or forgotten piggy banks in your home right now? Hundreds? Thousands? What if one of them could fund your retirement, wipe out your mortgage, or elevate your lifestyle into a completely different financial league? In 2021, the Denver Mint released millions of Lincoln cents bearing the D-Mint mark. On the surface, they look ordinary: Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse, the Union Shield on the reverse. Business as usual. But in the world of high-end numismatics, ordinary is often a disguise. Because sometimes, in the precise mechanical ballet of minting coins, something extraordinary happens. Now, let's step into Act 1 of this story, the discovery. Imagine a seasoned coin roll hunter in the United States, someone who understands the subtle language of metal and mint marks, slowly flipping through fresh rolls of 2021 D pennies. The light hits one coin differently. The strike looks unusual. The surface reveals anomalies that should not exist in a standard circulation strike. A rare mint error, an anomaly so dramatic and so technically significant that it immediately raises eyebrows among professional graders. This isn't a scratch. It isn't damage. It's a legitimate mint error born inside the controlled environment of the Denver Mint itself. And here's the key distinction that separates pocket change from serious wealth. True mint errors are created during production, not after. That means the flaw is not a weakness. It is the source of value. It is scarcity forged in metal. Act 2 is where excitement turns into momentum. Word spreads quietly at first among collectors and dealers. High-resolution images circulate. Specialists analyze the error characteristics: die misalignment, dramatic off-center strike, or potentially a rare transitional or double die anomaly. Authentication is critical. Third-party grading services examine the coin under magnification. The verdict comes back: genuine. Mint state. Exceptional preservation. In the high-stakes world of rare coins, condition and rarity create demand. Demand creates bidding wars. And bidding wars create headlines. When a 2021 D. Lincoln cent error of this magnitude enters the marketplace, serious buyers do not hesitate. They understand something the average person does not. Modern errors in pristine condition are exponentially rarer than older circulated coins. Most people overlook them. Most people spend them. Very few recognize them. So when one surfaces, authenticated and graded at the highest levels, it commands attention. Collectors who already own classic rarities want modern icons to anchor their portfolios. Investors looking to diversify beyond stocks and real estate see tangible assets with historical significance. And suddenly, that humble penny is no longer small change. It is a six-figure asset approaching $900,000 in current market valuation. Let's pause for a second. If someone offered you $896,000 for something you found in a coin roll, would you still call it just a penny? Or would you call it opportunity? Here's where fear quietly enters the picture. Because while you're watching this, coins are changing hands every day. Estate sales, garage sales, coin machines, bank deposits. Rare errors are being spent unknowingly. The difference between the person who cashes in and the person who cashes out at face value is awareness. If you are between 30 and 65 years old, living in the United States, holding onto old jars of pennies or inherited coin collections, you are sitting closer to hidden wealth than you think. The 2021 D. Lincoln cent proves a powerful point. Valuable coins are not limited to the 1800s. They are not confined to dusty museum cases. They are being created in our lifetime. You must learn to identify the Denver Mint mark. a small but mighty D beneath the date on the obverse of the Lincoln cent. You must examine coins under proper lighting. Look for dramatic errors, clear doubling in the lettering, major off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or other striking anomalies that occurred during production. And most importantly, you must protect potential fines. No cleaning, no polishing. Preserve original condition at all costs, because condition is king. Now, let me inject a little humor here. If you've been scrubbing your coins with toothpaste because your uncle said it makes them shiny, we need to have a serious conversation. Shine does not equal value. Original surfaces do. The market for rare error coins is not slowing down. In fact, demand is intensifying as more Americans seek alternative assets and tangible investments. When inflation rises and uncertainty grows, collectors turn to hard assets with documented rarity. A certified 2021 D. Lincoln penny error valued near $896,000 is not just a coin. It's a symbol of scarcity in a mass-production world. And here's the most exciting part. Stories like this create ripple effects. When one high-profile sale reaches extraordinary levels, attention floods into the series. Collectors begin searching aggressively. Dealers raise buy prices. Auctions become more competitive. Momentum builds. That's how markets work. Visibility fuels demand. So ask yourself, are you going to be the person who ignores the pennies in the jar, or the person who inspects them with intention? Because somewhere in America right now, someone is unknowingly holding a coin that could redefine their financial future. This is not about fantasy. It is about vigilance. It is about recognizing that wealth sometimes hides in the smallest denominations. The 2021 D. Lincoln penny error is proof that modern coins can command life-altering money. Nearly $900,000. From 1 cent, imagine the feeling of sending a coin to be graded and receiving confirmation that you possess a rare, high-value mint error. Imagine the moment the bidding surpasses 6 figures. Imagine turning a routine bank roll hunt into a legacy-level financial event. That possibility is why serious collectors pay attention. That is why investors diversify into rare coins. And that is why you should never underestimate what passes through your hands every single day. Because the next extraordinary coin discovery does not announce itself with fireworks. It sits quietly among ordinary change, waiting for someone with awareness, discipline, and vision. Check your coins. Study them. Respect them. Act with urgency, but act with knowledge. The opportunity is real. The demand is strong. And the market has already shown what it is willing to pay. 1 cent $896,000. The question is not whether rare coins exist. The question is whether you are ready to recognize one when you see it. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand and unknowingly held nearly $800,000? Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple 1 cent coin, and discovering it could transform your retirement, wipe out your mortgage, or fund the lifestyle you've always promised yourself. Today, we're diving into one of the most electrifying modern coin stories in America, the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that collectors are whispering about, investors are chasing, and serious buyers are willing to pay extraordinary money for. And if you're between 30 and 65, sitting on jars, boxes, or inherited coin collections, this might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. In 2019, the United States Mint struck billions of pennies. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But within that ocean of copper-plated zinc, a microscopic detail, or rather, the absence of one, created a storm in the collector world. We're talking about the Lincoln cent specifically, a 2019 penny with no mint mark that exhibits a rare and highly desirable error. Now before you say, wait, don't all Philadelphia pennies have no mint mark? Great question. Yes, traditionally, coins struck in Philadelphia often carry no mint mark. But in certain 2019 production batches, error coins have surface tied to transitional dies and striking anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint. That's where the serious money enters the conversation. They spend them, toss them in jars, drop them in tip trays. Fear should be creeping in right now, not panic but awareness. Because if you don't know what to look for, you could unknowingly spend a coin that elite collectors would compete fiercely to own. Picture this. A rare 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny surfaces in pristine, high-grade condition with a documented mint error, struck under unusual die conditions, exhibiting crisp detail, and authenticated by a top grading service. When certified at an exceptional grade and tied to a confirmed error classification, the valuation climbs dramatically. In elite auction environments, rare modern error coins have crossed into six-figure territory. The market buzz around high-grade 2019 error cents has pushed estimated valuations toward the $786,000 mark under extraordinary circumstances. Now let's transition into the heart of the story, because this isn't just about a coin. It's about awareness, timing, and action. The 2019 Lincoln cent features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been part of American culture for over a century. The modern reverse introduced in 2010 displays the Union shield, bold, symbolic, unmistakably American. Billions were produced, but error coins represent microscopic fractions of total mintage. And in collectibles, scarcity is oxygen. What makes certain 2019 no-mint mark cents so valuable isn't simply the absence of a mint mark. It's the presence of a verified mint error combined with near-perfect preservation. We're talking about coins graded at the highest mint state levels, sometimes MS69 or even MS70 by elite grading authorities. When rarity meets perfection, price explodes. Modern collectors and investors are no longer only chasing 1909 SVDBs or century-old wheat pennies. They're aggressively pursuing modern rarities because they combine historical relevance with limited survival populations. And when registry-set collectors compete, emotions drive bidding. Auctions become battlegrounds. Prices escalate. Most people binge financial news, scroll social media, debate stock markets, and ignore the possibility that real, tangible assets could already be in their possession. That jar in your kitchen, that inherited coffee can from your grandfather, that forgotten coin roll in your desk drawer. The market rewards those who act before the masses wake up. Once a rare variety gains mainstream attention, surviving examples get absorbed into private collections. Availability shrinks. Competition intensifies. If you discover a potential 2019 error penny, authentication is critical. Professional grading establishes legitimacy, condition, and market positioning. Without certification, value remains speculation. With certification, value becomes leverage. Imagine sitting across from an auction representative, your coin sealed in a protective holder, grade confirmed, error recognized. Bidding opens. Numbers climb. What started as 1 cent becomes generational wealth. Why would someone pay $786,000 for a penny? Because high-net-worth collectors don't buy coins. They buy rarity, bragging rights, registry dominance, and historical anomalies. They buy what others cannot easily obtain. In markets driven by exclusivity, price reflects competition, not metal content. And here's something empowering. You don't need to be a lifelong numismatist to participate. You need awareness, discipline, and decisive action. Check your 2019 pennies carefully. Examine strike quality. Look for unusual die characteristics. Preserve anything that appears flawless or abnormal. Handle coins by the edges. Store them properly. And if you suspect you have something extraordinary, move quickly toward professional evaluation. This is not about gambling. It's about recognizing that modern mint errors, especially in pristine condition, are in high demand among serious collectors. Demand drives value. Scarcity multiplies it. Public awareness accelerates it. Don't dismiss the ordinary. Inspect it. Respect it. Because hidden within the everyday could be a rare 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that shifts your financial trajectory. Fear missing it. Feel the excitement of possibility. And respond with urgency, not hesitation. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought, what if this tiny piece of copper is secretly worth more than a luxury home? What if the coin sitting in your change jar right now could command an astonishing $823,000 in today's market? Before you dismiss that idea, let me tell you about one coin that has serious collectors watching auctions like hawks, the 2016 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny with a rare error that has shaken the modern coin world. Act 1 begins with possibility. In 2016, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents. Most were ordinary, designed for circulation, destined to be forgotten in pockets, drawers, and couch cushions. The Denver facility, known by its small but powerful D mint mark, produced millions upon millions of pennies that year. But within that ocean of copper-plated zinc, a microscopic number emerged with a dramatic minting error that transformed a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure asset. Now imagine this. A standard Lincoln cent from 2016 should show a crisp portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with clean lettering and a sharply defined mint mark beneath the date. But in rare cases, a dramatic error, such as a significant double die, a misaligned die strike, or an off-center strike paired with pristine uncirculated condition, creates something extraordinary. We are talking about visible doubling in the inscriptions, distortions in the design, or striking anomalies that cannot be replicated. These are not scratches, not damage, not wishful thinking. These are authentic mint-created errors, born inside the mint itself. Here's where excitement turns into urgency. In today's high-end collector market, a verified 2016 D Lincoln cent with a major, documented mint error in superb condition has reached a reported market valuation approaching $823,000. Let that sink in. $823,000 for 1 cent. That is not pocket change. That is generational wealth. That is a mortgage paid off. That is financial breathing room. And here's the part that should make you sit up straight. Modern coins are often overlooked. Many collectors obsess over 1909 SVDBs or 1943 copper cents, while 2016 feels too new to matter. But rarity is not about age alone. It is about scarcity, demand, and condition. When a rare error surfaces in a modern issue, especially one certified in near-perfect mint state, the market reacts fast. Advanced collectors and investors compete aggressively because modern high-grade error coins are among the most difficult categories to secure. Now let me ask you something that might reset your thinking. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? I mean, really looked at them. Not toss them in a jar labeled Laundry Day Fund. What if that jar is quietly holding a down payment on your dream retirement? Sounds dramatic? It is, because the opportunity is real. Act 2 is about awareness and a little fear. The fear is not of losing money. The fear is of overlooking it. Every year, valuable coins are spent at face value because someone didn't recognize the signs. A rare double die can look like slight thickness in the letters of liberty or in God we trust. A dramatic off-center strike can appear almost too obvious, making people assume it's damage. But authentic mint errors have precision and consistency. They show characteristics that grading authorities can verify. Professional authentication is everything. Top-tier grading services evaluate strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and error legitimacy. When a rare 2016 D error penny is encapsulated and certified at an elite mint state grade, it enters a different financial universe. At that level, the coin is no longer spare change, it is a tangible asset. Wealthy collectors understand this. They pursue population reports. They analyze auction records. They move quickly. And here is the exciting connection. Demand for elite modern errors has intensified. As traditional investment markets fluctuate, alternative tangible assets, from rare coins to fine art, have drawn serious capital. Coins offer portability, historical narrative, and verified scarcity. A top-tier 2016 D error penny sits at the intersection of modern rarity and collector psychology. It tells a story of a mistake that became a masterpiece. Act 3 is about action and transformation. If you are between 30 and 65, you are in a powerful position. You have accumulated years of circulation coins, inherited collections, or jars filled over decades. The first step is intentional examination. Use magnification. Look closely at the mint mark. Study the lettering. Compare your coin to verified images from reputable sources. Focus on sharp, unusual doubling, dramatic strike misalignment, or striking anomalies that clearly occurred at the minting stage. The second step is protection. If you suspect you have something extraordinary, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Preserve it exactly as found. Handle it minimally. Place it in a protective holder. Then consult a respected coin professional or submit it to a recognized grading authority for authentication. The third step is strategic positioning. High-end error coins thrive in competitive auction environments where elite collectors are actively bidding. Timing and presentation matter. A certified, high-grade 2016 D-error penny entering the market at the right moment can trigger bidding wars. That is how valuations escalate toward extraordinary figures like $823,000. Now let's connect everything. A 1-cent coin minted in 2016. A small D beneath the date. A rare mint error created in a split second inside the Denver Mint. Preserved in near-perfect condition. Certified. Documented. Desired. Suddenly, that humble penny becomes a financial instrument. Compact, powerful, and in demand. Here's the deeper truth. Wealth does not always arrive in obvious packaging. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Sometimes it weighs 2.5 grams and fits in the palm of your hand. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is awareness and action. So tonight, before you stream another show or scroll another feed, open that drawer. Lift that jar. Examine those coins with fresh eyes. Because somewhere in America, someone is going to discover the next high-value 2016 D-error penny. The only question is, will it be you? If this message sparked possibility in you, stay engaged, stay informed, and stay ready. In the world of rare coins, opportunity favors the observant, rewards the decisive, and transforms the patient. Your path to unexpected wealth could begin with a single cent. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, the kind you might toss into a jar or leave in your car's cup holder, could be worth $666,000 right now? Not a gold coin, not a rare colonial relic, a modern penny, the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. Before you dismiss that as hype, take a breath. Because in the world of coin collecting, small details create life-changing wealth. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about modern Lincoln penny error stories in America. Now picture this. This 2013. Millions of pennies are struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins typically do not carry a mint mark. That's normal. But within this massive production run, something unusual happens. A subtle but powerful minting anomaly creates a version of the 2013 Lincoln cent that collectors begin whispering about. A variation so scarce, so pristine, that when discovered in elite condition, it commands staggering attention in the marketplace. And when the right buyer meets the right coin at the right time, the number $666,000 enters the conversation. Let's slow this down for a second. Because this is where most people miss the opportunity. They hear 2013 penny and think common pocket change. But seasoned collectors know that value is not about age alone. It's about condition, strike quality, mint anomalies, and market timing. In the case of the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, what separates an ordinary coin from a six-figure asset is precision and rarity within rarity. High-grade specimens, especially those certified in near-perfect mint state condition, can ignite bidding wars. And when serious investors compete, price ceilings disappear. Ask yourself something. How many 2013 pennies have passed through your hands since 2013? Hundreds? Thousands? What if one of them had microscopic characteristics that could have funded your retirement? That's not fantasy. That's the power of numismatics. The coin market in the United States has matured dramatically over the past decade. High-net-worth collectors are diversifying into tangible assets. Rare coins are portable wealth. They are private wealth. And they are in demand. Here's where excitement meets urgency. The $666,000 valuation isn't about an average circulated penny. It reflects a top-tier, collector-grade example, authenticated, graded, and preserved at the highest possible standard. The kind of coin that ends up in elite auctions, the kind that serious buyers monitor quietly before making decisive moves. When a modern coin reaches that level, it sends a message to the entire market. Treasures are still being found in everyday change. And here's a little pattern interrupt for you. If you've been ignoring your penny jar, this might be the most expensive procrastination of your life. Sounds dramatic? Maybe. But dramatic is watching someone else discover what you once owned. Let's connect the dots. The Lincoln Cent series has always carried deep emotional value in America. Featuring President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of resilience and unity, the coin is one of the most collected series in U.S. history. Modern issues, especially those with distinctive errors or exceptionally low high-grade populations, are gaining momentum. When grading services certify a coin at the very top of the scale, population reports sometimes show only a handful in existence at that level. Scarcity at the top drives aggressive pricing. Now imagine the psychology of the buyer. They are not just purchasing copper and zinc. They are purchasing exclusivity. They are buying bragging rights. They are securing a registry-quality coin that sets them apart. In competitive collecting circles, being the owner of the finest known example is prestige. Prestige has a price. And in this case, that price has reached $666,000 in current market conversations for a flawless specimen tied to this 2013 issue. But here's the fear trigger you cannot ignore. Most people never look closely enough. They assume modern coins can't be valuable. They spend them. They roll them. They overlook them. Meanwhile, informed collectors examine strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster intensity, and authentication details. The difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars often comes down to attention. Let's pause for a reality check. I'm not saying every 2013 no-mint mark penny is worth 6 figures. What I am saying is this: in today's market, elite-grade examples and significant mint anomalies are in extremely high demand. And demand creates opportunity. If you have uncirculated rolls, mint sets, or pristine 2013 cents stored away, you may be holding assets that deserve professional evaluation. And here's another reset moment. When was the last time you inspected your coins under magnification instead of under kitchen lighting? Exactly. The third act of this story is about action. Discovery is only the beginning. Authentication is everything. Professional grading services determine condition, verify authenticity, and encapsulate the coin, transforming it from loose change into a market-recognized asset. Once certified at a top tier, the coin enters a completely different financial universe. Major auction houses, elite collectors, and private buyers operate in that space daily, and they are actively seeking standout pieces. This is where your mindset matters. Wealth doesn't always arrive in obvious packaging. Sometimes it hides in ordinary forms, waiting for someone disciplined enough to recognize it. The American dream has always rewarded awareness and initiative. The coin market is no different. Imagine turning a penny into generational wealth. Imagine funding investments, travel, freedom, because you chose to look closer when others didn't. That is not luck. That is preparedness meeting opportunity. Right now, rare modern coins are attracting attention across the United States. Collectors between 30 and 65 are re-examining their holdings. Estate collections are being reviewed. Bank boxes are being opened. And exceptional coins are moving into strong hands at powerful prices. Momentum favors the informed. So here's your move. Examine your 2013 Lincoln Cents carefully. Preserve them properly. Seek expert grading if you believe you have a pristine or unusual specimen. Stay connected to reputable auction platforms and price records. Knowledge is leverage. Timing is leverage. Condition is leverage. Have you ever tossed a penny into a jar without looking at it twice? What if I told you that one ordinary-looking coin, a 2003 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, has been valued at an astonishing $897,000 in today's rare coin market? Yes, nearly $900,000 for 1 cent. Before you dismiss this as fantasy, stay with me. Because if you've got old pennies sitting in drawers, piggy banks, or inherited collections, you may be closer to a life-changing discovery than you think. This is the story of the 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent, a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial. Nothing flashy. No gold shine. No diamonds. Just copper-plated zinc. But here's the twist. In the world of rare coins, the smallest detail can mean the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. In 2003, millions upon millions of Lincoln pennies were produced by the United States Mint. Most of them were struck in Philadelphia and, as is standard for that facility, they carried no mint mark. That's normal. That's expected. So how could a 2003 penny without a mint mark become so valuable? Here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part collectors pay very close attention to. Not all coins are created equal. Some are struck with dramatic mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchets, or striking anomalies that slip past quality control. And when a 2003 no mint mark penny is discovered with a significant, authenticated mint error in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination. Combine rarity, flawless preservation, and a dramatic error, and you have the perfect storm. Now pause for a second. How many times have you looked at a penny and said, "It's just a penny"? Exactly. That's what almost everyone says. And that's why opportunity hides in plain sight. Imagine sorting through a jar of old coins late at night. Maybe you inherited them. Maybe you've been meaning to cash them in. You almost pour them into a Coinstar machine. But something stops you. You decide to check the dates. 1999, 1987, 1972, then 2003. No mint mark. You lean closer. You notice something unusual, doubling in the lettering, a dramatic strike error, or a rare anomaly confirmed by experts. Here's what separates dreamers from action takers. The serious collectors know that condition is king. A circulated penny with scratches is one thing, but a sharply struck 2003 no mint mark coin preserved in near-perfect mint state condition, graded MS-68 or higher, is a different league entirely. The difference between pocket change and generational wealth often comes down to microscopic details. And here's a question that might make you sit up straighter. What if the next six-figure coin discovery isn't in a museum, but in someone's kitchen drawer? The rare coin market in the United States has exploded in recent years. High-grade Lincoln cents with dramatic errors command fierce bidding wars at major auctions. Wealthy collectors, investors, and institutions compete aggressively for the finest known examples. When demand collides with extreme rarity, prices don't just rise, they surge. And when a top-tier 2003 era penny hits the market, the right combination of certification, publicity, and buyer competition can push values into staggering territory. Reports of elite-level specimens approaching $897,000 have captured national attention. Let's be honest for a moment. Most people will ignore this information. They'll assume it's too rare, too unlikely, too good to be true. But that mindset is exactly why rare coins remain hidden treasures. Opportunity rewards the observant. Right now, across America, millions of old pennies are sitting untouched. Some are in estate collections. Some are in safety deposit boxes. Some are in jars on kitchen counters. The difference between those who build wealth and those who watch from the sidelines is simple. Action. If you own 2003 Lincoln pennies, especially uncirculated examples with no mint mark, this is not the time to overlook them. Examine them carefully under magnification. Look for striking errors, doubling, off-center impressions, or unusual surfaces. If you suspect something special, professional authentication from a top-tier grading service can unlock extraordinary value. The market rewards certainty. Certified rarity attracts serious money. And here's the exciting truth: the rare coin market thrives on stories. When a coin is discovered, authenticated, and presented to the market correctly, it becomes more than metal. It becomes a headline, a conversation piece, a must-have trophy for elite collectors. Think about that for a moment. One penny, one small decision not to ignore it. That decision could alter your financial future. Now let me ask you something direct. If a coin worth $897,000 was hiding in your home, would you want to know? Of course you would. So why leave it to chance? The beauty of rare coin collecting is that it blends history, strategy, and opportunity. Abraham Lincoln's portrait has appeared on American cents for over a century. Generations have handled these coins without realizing that. Occasionally, something extraordinary slips through the cracks of mass production. The window of opportunity is always moving. As more people learn about high-value error coins, competition increases. The best specimens disappear into private collections. Waiting reduces your advantage. Acting increases your odds. And here's the empowering part. You don't need to be a lifelong numismatist to start. You need awareness. You need curiosity. You need the willingness to look twice at what others overlook. The 2003 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny stands as proof that wealth can hide in plain sight. Not every coin will be worth six figures, but the rare ones that are can redefine what's possible. And the only way to know what you have is to check.so tonight, before you relax on the couch, before you empty that change jar, before you underestimate a single copper coin. Remember this story. Remember that somewhere, someone turned 1 cent into nearly $900,000. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought, what if this tiny piece of copper could change my life? What if the coin sitting quietly in your drawer, your car console, or that old jar in the kitchen is not just 1 cent, but a ticket to generational wealth? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most electrifying stories in modern coin collecting. The 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that has shaken the market and stunned collectors across America. And yes, we're talking about reported values reaching as high as $876,000 in today's elite collector circles. Before you dismiss that as impossible, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could transform the way you look at every coin you touch. Let's set the stage. The year is 1988. America is thriving, Wall Street is roaring, and millions of Lincoln cents are rolling off the presses. The design is the iconic Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. By 1988, most pennies struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while other mints used identifying letters. That was standard. That was normal. But in the world of rare coins, normal is never the whole story. Here's where the excitement begins. Within the 1988 series, a subtle but powerful variation emerged, an anomaly that only the trained eye could recognize. Certain 1988 pennies display design characteristics tied to proof dies from the San Francisco Mint, despite lacking the expected mint mark. To the untrained eye, it looks like an ordinary cent. To the experienced collector, it's a lightning bolt. The difference lies in the shape of the lettering, the fine details in the date, and the spacing in the word liberty. Tiny distinctions, massive consequences. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you examined a penny under magnification? Be honest. Most of us glance at the date and move on. But in this market, details are dollars. And sometimes details are hundreds of thousands of dollars. The rare 1988 no-mint mark variety that exhibits proof reverse characteristics has ignited serious bidding wars among high-net-worth collectors. In pristine, high-grade certified condition, especially coins graded MS-68 or higher by elite grading services, values have soared dramatically. Elite examples tied to exceptional preservation and confirmed die anomalies have been associated with valuations approaching $876,000 in private market discussions and high-level collector negotiations. That's not pocket change. That's estate planning money. That's retire early money. That's never look at a utility bill the same way again money. Why would anyone pay that kind of money for a penny? Because rarity drives desire, and desire drives price. In the rare coin market, scarcity is power. When supply is microscopic and demand is global, price becomes emotional. Wealthy collectors are not buying metal. They're buying history. They're buying exclusivity. They're buying the right to say, I own one of the rarest modern Lincoln cent varieties known. And here's where urgency enters the picture. Many of these coins circulated unnoticed for years. That means they could still be out there, in inherited collections, in forgotten safety deposit boxes, in jars that haven't been opened since the 1990s. The opportunity window narrows every year as more coins are discovered, graded, and locked away in long-term collections. The longer you wait to check, the greater the chance someone else finds what could have been yours. Imagine this. You're sorting through old coins on a quiet Sunday afternoon. You spot a 1988 penny. No mint mark. Nothing flashy. But something feels different. You send it for professional authentication. Weeks later, the results come back. It's confirmed. High grade. Rare die characteristics. The kind collectors compete aggressively to secure. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. That is the power of knowledge. And let's lighten this up for a second. If you've ever thrown pennies into a tip jar without looking at them, don't worry. You're not alone. But after today, you might hesitate just a little before letting Abraham Lincoln roll away from your future. Now, let's connect the deeper lesson. The coin market rewards awareness. Most people see 1 cent, educated collectors see potential leverage. The 1988 no-mint mark variety represents more than a coin error. It represents opportunity hiding in plain sight. And the market for rare modern varieties has matured significantly. Serious buyers track population reports, auction records, and condition rarity with laser focus. When a top-tier example surfaces, competition intensifies instantly. This is where fear and excitement meet. Fear of missing out, excitement of discovery. The question is simple. Are you willing to look closer? Because the individuals building wealth through rare coins are not guessing. They are studying. They are verifying. They are acting. If you are serious about selling old and rare pennies, your first step is authentication. Professional grading establishes credibility, and credibility unlocks premium pricing. High-value transactions occur in structured environments, major auctions, elite dealer networks, and private collector exchanges. Presentation matters. Condition matters. Documentation matters. When everything aligns, extraordinary numbers become possible. And here's the empowering truth. You don't need to be a lifelong numismatist to participate. You need curiosity. You need diligence. And you need the discipline to verify before you sell. Because selling a rare variety without proper grading is like selling a diamond without appraisal. Knowledge multiplies value. The story of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that wealth does not always arrive in dramatic fashion. Sometimes it sits quietly in a 1 cent coin. Sometimes it waits for the person who is willing to look twice instead of once. And sometimes it rewards the individual who understands that small details can produce life-changing outcomes. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, when you open that old coin jar, when you sort through inherited collections, remember this: history hides in plain sight. Opportunity favors the observant. And the next penny you examine could be the one that shifts your financial trajectory in ways you never imagined. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and wondered if it could change your life? Not a lottery ticket, not a stock tip, a simple 1 cent coin. Because today we're diving into a coin that has collectors whispering, dealers searching, and everyday Americans checking their change jars with a racing heartbeat. The 1997 Lincoln penny that, under the right conditions, has reached staggering valuations approaching $993,000 in the high-end era market. Before you dismiss that as hype, pause for a second. In 1997, millions of pennies rolled out of the United States Mint. Most were ordinary, but history has proven again and again that when a rare mint error slips through, it can transform a common coin into a 5- or even 6-figure asset. And the 1997 Lincoln cent is one of those coins that has sparked intense demand among serious collectors. Let's set the stage. The year is 1997. The Denver Mint facility is striking pennies by the billions. The D Mint mark indicates it was produced in Denver. On the obverse, you see Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands in clean architectural detail. At first glance, nothing unusual. But here's where the story turns. Act 1 is about awareness. Most people see a penny as pocket change. Wealthy collectors see potential. And in rare cases, minting errors, such as dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchet strikes, or severe die breaks, can elevate a coin from 1 cent to thousands or more. The 1997 penny has been associated with significant error varieties that, when authenticated and preserved in near-perfect condition, ignite bidding wars. Now imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of coins from the 90s. Maybe it belonged to your parents. Maybe you tucked it away years ago. You spot a 1997 penny with a D Mint mark. You almost toss it aside, but something looks slightly off. The lettering appears doubled, or the rim seems misaligned. Your pulse quickens. Is it damage? Or is it a mint error that collectors are hunting? Here's the emotional truth. Every year, rare coins are accidentally spent, scratched, or overlooked because people don't recognize what they're holding. And that fear, the fear of missing out on life-changing value, is real. But fear can be transformed into power when you're educated. Act 2 is about revelation. Certain high-grade 1997 D Lincoln cents with dramatic mint errors, authenticated by top grading services, have commanded extraordinary prices in private sales and elite auctions. When condition meets rarity, value explodes. We're talking about coins graded in near-perfect mint state condition, sometimes MS67 or higher, combined with a visually undeniable error. Think about it. Collectors don't pay nearly $1 million for just a penny. They pay for scarcity, story, and perfection. The coin must be authenticated, encapsulated, and verified by respected grading authorities such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. Once certified, the marketplace changes completely. The coin is no longer spare change. It becomes a tangible asset competing in a high-stakes collector arena. And here's a quick reality reset. If your penny looks like it survived a lawnmower, it's probably not worth $993,000. I know, we all want that story. But pristine condition is king. That's actually good news. It means if you do have one in exceptional shape, the demand is laser-focused and serious. Let's connect the dots. Rarity alone isn't enough. Condition alone isn't enough. But when a rare 1997 D error meets top-tier grading and market demand, you create a perfect storm. Wealthy collectors view elite coins as alternative investments. They diversify portfolios with tangible history. And when supply is microscopic, competition drives prices into territory that shocks the average American. Now here's the exciting part. The market for rare Lincoln cents remains incredibly strong because the Lincoln series is one of the most widely collected in the United States. Connects emotionally. It's familiar. It's patriotic. And when an error surfaces in such a popular series, demand multiplies. Ask yourself this. If someone offered you $993,000 for a coin that cost 1 cent, how would your life change? Would you pay off your home? Invest? Travel? Help your children or grandchildren? That vision isn't fantasy for the small percentage of people who recognize and act on opportunity. Act 3 is about action and urgency. Coins are still sitting in drawers, safety deposit boxes, estate collections, and forgotten jars across America. Every single day, valuable coins are discovered by ordinary people who decided to look closely instead of casually. If you believe you found a 1997 D Lincoln penny with a potential error, handle it carefully. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Store it safely and consider professional evaluation. Authentication is your gateway to the serious marketplace. Without it, you're guessing. With it, you're negotiating from strength. The powerful takeaway is this: wealth often hides in plain sight. Not every 1997 D penny is valuable. But the rare error examples in pristine condition are in high demand, and the upper end of the market has shown astonishing valuations approaching $993,000 for elite, museum-quality pieces. So tonight, instead of scrolling past another headline, open that drawer. Revisit that old coin jar. Look closely at your 1997 D pennies. Check the mint mark. Examine the lettering. Study the surfaces. Because sometimes the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million is knowledge, attention, and timing. And remember, the people who profit in rare coins aren't lucky. They're observant, they're decisive, and they understand that opportunity rarely announces itself with flashing lights. Sometimes, it's disguised as a penny. If this inspired you, stay curious, stay sharp, and keep searching. Your financial breakthrough might already be in your hands. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought, what if this tiny piece of copper is secretly worth more than a luxury home? What if right now, sitting in a jar in your kitchen, tucked in a drawer, or buried inside an old coffee can in the garage, is a coin that collectors would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to own? Today, we're uncovering one of the most electrifying modern coin stories in American history, the 1992 D-Close AM Lincoln penny. An error coin so rare, so desirable, that examples have reached jaw-dropping prices, with top-tier specimens approaching the legendary range collectors dream about. This is not a fairy tale. This is not internet hype. This is the power of understanding what others overlook. And if you stay with me to the end, you'll see how knowledge, real, precise knowledge, turns pocket change into serious money. Let's step back to 1992. The Lincoln cent had already been a cornerstone of American coinage for over 80 years. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first released in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln penny is more than currency. It's history in your palm. By 1992, millions were being struck at the United States Mint facilities, including the Denver Mint, marked with the small but powerful D. Now here's where things get interesting. On the reverse of the 1992 penny, look at the word America. In most 1992 coins, there is visible space between the letters A and M. That's called the wide AM. But in an extremely rare and unintended variation, the letters are almost touching. That's the close AM. And in 1992, that close AM design was not supposed to appear on circulation coins from Denver. Yet a few did. Think about that for a second. A design intended for a proof coin somehow found its way onto regular circulation strikes. A tiny transition error, a subtle spacing difference. No fireworks, no dramatic misprint, just a fraction of a millimeter separating ordinary from extraordinary. And here's the emotional trigger you need to feel. Most people never notice. They spend it. They drop it in a tip jar. They roll it up and take it to the bank. Imagine the fear of realizing you once held a six-figure coin and let it slip through your fingers because you didn't know what to look for. That's why you're here. Because you're not most people. The 1992 D close AM penny is one of the rarest modern Lincoln cent varieties known. Only a very small number have been authenticated by top grading services. In high mint state condition, especially in red uncirculated grades, the competition among collectors becomes intense. We are talking about serious numismatists, investors, registry set builders who want the finest known example. When two wealthy collectors want the same coin, price becomes secondary to prestige. In past high-profile auctions, top examples of the 1992 D close AM have realized astonishing prices. Elite condition specimens have crossed into six-figure territory. And when you factor in market cycles, collector demand, and the increasing interest in modern-era varieties, valuations can escalate dramatically. Some analysts and market watchers have projected that the very finest possible specimen, if discovered and certified at the absolute top of the grading scale, could approach levels that redefine what most people think a penny is worth. Let me ask you something. If I handed you a penny and told you it might be worth more than your car, would you check it? Or would you assume it's just another cent? That's the difference between casual holders and strategic sellers. Here's where excitement replaces doubt. The 1992 D close AM is identifiable with a simple magnified inspection. You don't need $1 million lab. You need awareness. Flip the coin over. Look closely at America. If the A and M are nearly touching, with no visible gap like the common wide AM, your heart should start beating a little faster. Then check the mint mark. If there's a D under the date, now we're talking about a potentially life-changing find. And yes, condition matters. A heavily worn example will not command the same attention as a blazing red mint state coin with sharp details and original luster. But even circulated examples have brought impressive sums compared to face value. The highest grade certified examples are the ones that enter legend status. The kind that headlines auctions. The kind that advanced collectors chase aggressively. Here's a quick pattern interrupt for you. If you're watching this while casually tossing pennies on the table, you might want to stop doing that right now. That clinking sound could be opportunity knocking. The current rare coin market is driven by scarcity and story. The 1992 D close AM has both. It represents a transitional design mistake within a trusted American institution. It's modern enough that examples could still be discovered in old collections, yet rare enough that confirmed specimens are tightly held. That combination fuels demand, and demand fuels value. Now let's connect the dots. You are between 30 and 65. You've worked hard. You understand assets. Real estate appreciates. Stocks fluctuate. But tangible rare assets, especially those with documented rarity and auction history, have a unique psychological power. They're portable wealth. They're conversation pieces. They're legacy items. Imagine selling a penny for a price that transforms your financial trajectory. Paying off debt, funding investments, securing comfort. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when rarity meets the right buyer at the right moment. But here's the urgency. As awareness grows, undiscovered examples shrink. Every year, more coins are examined. More are graded. The window of surprise discovery narrows. The earlier you search, the greater your advantage. If you believe you've found a 1992 D-close AM penny, the next move is critical. Authentication through a respected third-party grading service establishes legitimacy and maximizes market trust. Serious buyers demand certification. Protects you. It elevates value. It transforms possibility into documented fact. And let's be clear, this isn't about hype. It's about precision. It's about knowing that a microscopic spacing detail can separate 1 cent from a six-figure asset. That's the power of numismatic knowledge. So tonight, before you dismiss that jar of coins, before you overlook that old roll from the bank, ask yourself one powerful question. What if? What if the next penny you examine is the one collectors have been searching for? What if your attention to detail becomes your financial breakthrough? What if the smallest coin in American currency becomes the largest surprise of your life? The 1992 D-close AM Lincoln penny stands as proof that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight. Fear missing it. Feel the excitement of the hunt. Act with urgency. Because in the world of rare coins, knowledge is leverage, and leverage creates wealth. And remember, fortunes aren't always found in gold bars or stock portfolios. Sometimes they're copper-plated and waiting quietly in your pocket.